welcome back to my channel. So today we are back in the bakery again. We're going to be making a recipe that my mother-in-law taught me. I didn't know anything about these until I moved to Pennsylvania, so this is a Pennsylvania Dutch Mennonite recipe. It is actually called funny cake. So for those of you who've never heard of funny cake, hey, come along for the ride because I'm going to show you how to make them. Okay, so for this recipe there are actually two parts to it. There's a bottom part and there's a top part. So the bottom is like a chocolate goo and the top is the cake. That's why it's called funny cake, although it is made in a pie crust. So we're going to get started on the goo part. Okay, so for the first part of this, it actually gets cooked. Whenever I see a recipe that has two parts to it, I've always have been intimidated with it. I just want you to know this recipe is easy. And I know my daughter-in-law, she always says, June, you always say the recipes are easy. They really are, and this is a simple one to do, and you're going to love the results in the end. The first thing that you will need for the bottom layer of the pie is 1.5 cups of water, and all of this gets put on the stove and is going to get cooked together. Also, 1.5 cups of sugar and 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. And by the way, I love my measuring cups. These are actually going to be linked below, and yeah, they are just so cool. I love how the little points on them, when you go to dig something out of a container or a bag, it actually helps to stir up your flour or your sugar. So also the cocoa. I love the cocoa that is the special dark chocolate. It makes your baked goods that you put chocolate in just taste absolutely fantastic. Also, there is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, you mix this together thoroughly and you bring it to a boil. Okay, so I want to show you here, this is what a boil looks like whenever you're boiling something like this. And look at that go, you just bring it to a boil and turn it off, pull it over to the side, and we're gonna let that sit and cool for a little bit. So then we can put it into our the rest of the pie. So for the bottom of these pies, cakes, it's actually a crust. I have actually bought my crust. That's just the easiest way to go for me. You can make your own crust. They actually are delicious whenever you make them homemade. I am not a very good pie baker whenever it comes to the crust. I love to do the rest of it, but the crust part, I've not gotten very good at it. So anyway, simple as pie. Just buy your pie crust. I got the 9-inch deep dish, 3 of them for this recipe. Okay, so what I've put in my mixer here is 3/4 of a cup of crisco and 1.5 cups of sugar. I've started to mix that up. I am going to be putting in, it is 1 cup of milk and it's 2 eggs. And I just took my fork and I stirred it together so that it's mixed together before it goes in. I will also have 3 cups of flour and 1 teaspoon of vanilla and 3 teaspoons of baking powder going in here. Okay, so I am going to divide my batter out between my 3 deep dish pie crusts. Okay, so I have divided out my batter. And I know I told you that there's a goo on the bottom. Well, that's the crazy thing about these pie cakes. We are going to divide the chocolate syrup that has cooled down. We're going to divide that between the 3 of them. And we're going to put it on the top. And then when it's all baked, it's on the bottom. That's why they're called funny cakes. Anyway, and you probably wonder what in the world I'm doing with my cutting board here. I actually had sat my pie crusts on top of my stove on them to thaw. I hadn't mentioned that earlier because they were bought frozen pie crusts. Okay, they divided up great between all three of them. I will put them in the oven at 375, and they will bake for like 40 minutes. Okay, so my funny cakes are done, and it took about 40 minutes to bake them, and I had some real life experience going on. I'm just going to show you here. Kind of ran over. Usually I put a cookie sheet into my oven. Anyway, I've got my husband here. This is Mike.
Howdy.
And he is here to taste test these things to see if they are as good as his mom's. He had better. Yeah, you know what he better do.
I know what I'm supposed to say. We'll see if that works out.
So we're going to cut into the one here, and I'm going to give him a sample of it. Okay, we are going to take out of the one that ran over. Whoop! There went your crust. Oh my goodness, honey.
That means it's good and fluffy.
Oh, yum. Look at that goo in there. Oh, that's just the best part, right, Mike?
Absolutely. It's like a liquid chocolate bar with yummy cake on it.
Okay, what do you think?
I would have to try this out. Chocolate. Fluffy.
Does it pass?
Not bad. Try another piece to make sure. Don't want to leave anything on the plate that's like crummy.
Does it pass? Does it taste like your childhood?
I know. Mom, if you're watching this, you have some severe competition. I think this might almost be better than yours. I might have to try a couple more pieces just to make sure exactly where it comes in line.
Well, isn't he just the sweetest? He knew he better say the right thing, right? He actually is on camera, so he better had. If you've liked this video and you like the idea of something new, this is simple. Hey, give me a thumbs up, give me a comment, tell me what are some things that you really like to make, and also subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.